Hey everyone, thanks for joining us for this webinar here today. We're very excited to have you guys here. In this webinar, we'll be discussing Fullscript and Living Plate RX integration. So as we wait for folks to trickle in, I think I'll go ahead and kick this off by introducing myself and our special co-host here today, Jeannie. My name is Alan Karani, and I'm an integration specialist here at Fullscript. I work with our integration partners to launch and optimize them, as well as to train our practitioners and our joint users on the integration. And I'm really happy to introduce our newest partner, Living Plate RX. So we're very excited to explore the integration here today and show you exactly how to better the experience for our healthcare practitioners. Of course, I'm not rolling solo on this webinar. Today I have with me Jeannie Petrucci.
Hi.
So just a little background, onto Jeannie. She is a registered dietitian, nutritionist, and a culinary coach with over 25 years of experience as a private cooking instructor and a nutrition educator. Her mission and her Living Plate RX's mission is to support healthcare professionals in delivering evidence-based nutrition protocols and providing them access to a white-labeled, customizable meal plans. So essentially making science delicious, and I think people would agree with me here. It's not a bad idea. So, additionally, she does have a master's in nutrition education at the Teachers College at Columbia University. She is way smarter than me than I ever will be.
Oh, no chance.
As I mentioned before,
you are so good at what you
do. And as I mentioned before, she is a registered dietitian nutritionist. Jeannie, I know that was a long introduction from my end, but thanks for being here today.
Yeah, it's my pleasure. And thank you. Thank you for having me. And thank you for all the work that you have done. Alan, you and your team are just really tremendous partners. It's really been a great experience. And I'm excited to be here to talk about kind of bringing nutrition education to life and supplements and just having that conversation. You know, Alan, it was funny what you said, like making science delicious. Nobody's going to argue with that. And I would say, like, every time I speak to a group of healthcare professionals and I say, you know, do you believe in food as medicine? Everybody's like, well, of course, right? Like nobody says, well, that's a dumb idea. You know, food is medicine. Like that's ridiculous. And so, you know, when you're talking about food as medicine, you're talking about the food specifically, you're talking about food and supplements, right? All of the intake. And that's why this integration makes so much sense. Let me just tell you guys that I'm in my kitchen right now, and you can see, I'm just gonna see that over there. So I am doing at 2:30 today, I am doing a cooking demo. So part of bringing nutrition education to life is using our meal plan recipes in live cooking demos. So I'm going to be on our public Facebook page at Living Plate today at 2:30 if you guys want to join me, and we can just like continue the conversation there. But yeah, just really happy to be here talking about nutrition plans and supplements and why it makes sense to integrate our two software platforms.
Absolutely, and I'm really excited to showcase what we're all about here, guys. I'll actually kick this off by sharing my screen since we'll be using it for slides and providing a demonstration to our attendees here. So I'll go ahead and turn off our webcams here. It's perfect because I have a face for radio. So I'll go ahead and turn that off. And I'll start to go ahead and share my screen. Now, I also want to mention here before we get started that if you have any questions along the way at any point of this presentation, please ask away in the questions tab in the webinar platform. We have people online that are available to answer them via chat. Also, Jeannie and I will be able to take those questions towards the end of our sessions here. And just to get that started, I do have a question for you guys. Just to get a better and deeper understanding of your practice and your day-to-day, we would like to know what kind of EHRs are you guys using right now? What kind of solutions are you folks using right now to currently alongside Living Plate RX and Fullscript? So type away your answers there along with your questions. We would love to hear from you guys. I also want to make note here that if you are experiencing any technical issues or where you aren't able to hear from us or you cannot see our screen, just to give you some peace of mind here, just let us know. but for some peace of mind here, we'll be sending a full wrap up with a recording in the coming days. So if you need to hop off for whatever reason, you won't have to worry about missing out. Perfect. And it's great to see that people are actually responding right here. Just to be mindful of your time here today, guys. Just to be mindful of your time here today, guys, in terms of what we'll be talking about here today, I provided a little agenda. So we'll actually start off by talking about incorporating food and supplements into your nutrition care conversations that you're actually having with your patients right now. And for those that might be unfamiliar with the tools that we'll be talking about today, we'll actually go ahead and provide an overview of both Fullscript and the Living Plate RX solutions. We'll then move on and talk about the benefits of the integration before we jump on the demonstration and show you how to set up the integration and start using it immediately. Of course, we'll be showing you some tips and tricks here about both solutions and show you exactly how it can optimize in a positive way your workflow when you do actually use it. And as I mentioned before, at the end of our session here today, we'll open it up to a Q&A. Great. Now, before we actually tackle the how here, Jeannie is going to take a few minutes to discuss the why this integration not only makes sense, but how it can be leveraged to drive positive outcome for patients. Jeannie?
Thank you, Alan. So this is a Venn diagram just kind of illustrating how the conversation around food and supplements should be happening. So the conversation around food and supplements can and should happen in every one of these fields. And I am going to take you through medical nutrition therapy for those of you who are not registered dietitians. But at the top here, you can see the medical nutrition therapy. And then we have digital nutrition and supplement education. And then we have digital culinary experience. When these three things come together, we as practitioners get closer to addressing many of the barriers that prevent nutrition-related health behavior changes. Because at the end of the day, as nutrition professionals, but also as healthcare practitioners, our outcome has to be focused on the health behavior change, right? And in this particular case, the nutrition-related health behavior change. We might be looking to, optimize somebody's cholesterol or blood sugar management. Those are all great outcomes too. But for sustainable, positive outcomes, we really have to focus on health behavior change. So really everything that I do in my business is built on health behavior theory. So some examples of nutrition-related health behaviors, in case you're asking yourself, like, what does that mean? It is identifying the right foods and supplements. So basically shopping for food and supplements is a health behavior because the things that they are going to be purchasing and taking in will impact their health. Consuming the right foods and supplements, so the behavior is eating and intake, so taking their supplements. Setting up a home environment, which relates to kind of the kitchen equipment and tools, because they can't operationalize a lot of the things that you're asking them to do if they don't have the proper environment. And sometimes, like during medical nutrition therapy and intake assessments, we have to also do social assessments and environment assessments. Maybe your client doesn't have certain tools available to them, and that needs to be considered too. Cooking and meal prep is absolutely a health behavior, and meal planning is also a health behavior. So these are all actions that people take that are determinants of health outcomes. If they do them well, right? If they identify the right foods and supplements, if they're consuming the right foods and supplements, if they have a great home environment, if they're comfortable and they have confidence in the kitchen, and if they're meal planning, they are more likely to have a positive health outcome. If you're not engaging in these behaviors, it's going to be really tough to meet health goals. So MNT at the top of the Venn diagram is medical nutrition therapy. So it's really what dietitians are trained to do. On the next slide, we're going to actually take a little bit of a deeper dive into the individual components of MNT and kind of where food and supplement conversation fits. But generally, this is where we all start, and it can begin as early as the client's initial contact with you, right? So whether you're answering the phone or you have admin supporting you with answering your phone, you kind of triage, right? You ask a couple of questions. So from your very first conversation with the patient, you're going to start getting an idea of what perhaps their food and supplement needs might be. But then you do need to go take that deeper dive into medical nutrition therapy. So the next circle to the bottom left is the digital nutrition and supplement education. So knowledge or lack of knowledge can be a barrier to engaging in the right behaviors, but it also serves as motivation. So providing clients with the why, right? Like why, and I'm going to use the elimination diet here, Alan, if I can, just as an example. You know, why do I need to follow an elimination diet? So you need to provide them, and you're all going to be receiving this guide with information on why is this important to me? What outcomes am I going to expect? So perceived outcomes are all part of the knowledge that you are going to be providing them. And that why can get them to the how. Okay, so now I'm motivated, right? I know I need to do this. How am I actually going to do it? How is the action that actually moves them along the continuum of health behavior change. So that's why the education piece, and that's what I love about partnering with Fullscript, because their medical education team focuses on that too. Really providing high quality education resources to help motivate and inform, so that we can actually get to the how and start using the tools that we're going to be showing you today. So providing consumers with the nutrition and supplement education is especially important at this time, right? Because many have taken to Google University to get a lot of their information on nutrition solutions, and Amazon for purchasing supplements. Yikes, right? Like we really don't want that happening. So we have to be very proactive about supporting our patients with education and with tools in order to get them to success. The digital culinary experience, which is in the bottom right, this is really about supporting clients with a thorough care plan, which was the medical nutrition therapy, and education, getting them closer to the finish line. But it's not complete without addressing what's at the end of the day, what's on their plates, right? We're going to give them the education, they're going to be motivated, we're going to give them all of these tools, but we really do have to have a conversation with, at the end of the day, what is on their plates, and providing them the digital meal plans that they can customize while considering the other pieces of their nutrition care plan, such as their supplement recommendations, will have them crossing over the finish line and really thanking you at the podium when they meet their health goals. So, without that piece of the Venn diagram, you're doing, and I see this in a lot of practices, like the medical nutrition therapy and the nutrition therapy and the education, that does happen in a lot of practices. But without this digital culinary experience, it's like you're getting them to the finish line and they can see it, but they can't cross over, right? Because either they don't have cooking confidence, or they don't, they don't cook, or time is an issue. So I focus a lot of my attention on digital culinary experience to support you. So Alan, we can go to the next slide. So just to break it down for all of my registered dietitians who are joining me today, this looks very familiar to you. So ADIME is an acronym, and this is really the process that we are trained in as part of medical nutrition therapy. ADIME starts with the assessment of the patient. So in addition to patient history, signs and symptoms, and standard biometrics, we also need to pay attention to assess current supplement intake. Like how many times, I can't even tell you how many times, it's probably more patients than not in my practice, come to an appointment with a bag full of supplements just because they heard or they read or their friend or their neighbor told them, right? So assessing their current supplement intake is really important, and also the brands that they're selecting. Assessing their food intake, assessing their cooking confidence. I did literally an entire webinar on assessing the importance of assessing culinary confidence, as well as assessing their kitchen environment. Really important. You can't ask them to cross that finish line that I just talked to unless you support them with cooking confidence, assessing, making sure they have the right tools. Do they have food access? Where are they shopping? And then also understanding their stage of change, right? The stage of change really refers, for my behavior change geeks out there, you know what that means, but it really is about, is your client ready to make change? Because if you have a client who walks in and says, oh, my physician told me to see you, or my oncologist told me to come and see you, and I have to change my diet. Well, we're not even going into the intervention piece until we kind of work on the motivation side, right? So the diagnosis is issued based on assessment. So it is a nutrition prescription and supplement recommendation that your patient will follow to improve their signs and symptoms. And now we get to the intervention part. So this is where our collaboration and our integration kind of lives really nicely. So the intervention targets actionable behaviors. You provide them with knowledge and tools, right? So the education, but then the tools like their Fullscript account and their meal planning account, and resources to support them in achieving their nutrition prescription and following their supplement recommendations. So compliance with that. Then you want to monitor and evaluate. This integration with Fullscript really is just this is the zone of genius right here, right? The intervention, the monitoring, and the evaluation. That's where this integration really shines, because we're giving you all of the tools. We're also giving you a space where you can monitor, right? Is my patient in their meal plan? Are they, looking at recipes? Are they opening up their Fullscript recommendation and ordering their supplements when they need to? And then, of course, evaluating their intake during sessions and follow-ups, food knowledge, assessing their confidence, and also their supplement compliance. If you guys have questions about this, just please feel free to drop them, and we'll go ahead and answer them later. So Alan,
So
that is what
Jeannie,
I have to say about, I basically wrapped up what registered dietitians do in a nutshell, right? Took me 5 years to learn that at Columbia, but uh,
it's perfect. So Jeannie, that has been very, very informative. I know just from personal experience, I have issues finding the right food, determining what is the right food, as well as the right supplements when I'm at the grocery store, and let alone eating properly. So I bet you I'd be one of those nightmare customers that you would have, or clients that you would have. We do actually have a question here. This is a
sure.
perfect segue, and it's from Tina. She is a virtual medical practice. So using integrative nutritionists around the country, can Living Plate be a replacement for that?
That is such a great question, and actually one that, in my marketing materials, I address head on. So this integration is a tool. It does not replace a dietitian. It is just a tool that will enable the dietitian or the healthcare professional be much more effective and much more supportive in this area of nutrition and supplement recommendations. So it is a tool that all of your integrative nutritionists all over the country have access to. Tina, you actually could have an account and grant access to those nutritionists and dietitians, and you can actually kind of monitor, what's going on, who's signing up for meal plans, what meal plans are they on, so that when you are seeing a patient virtually, you'll be able to log into that Living Plate account and see, oh, I see that Mary Jones is following the anti-inflammatory 3-day plan, and you can actually have a conversation about that. So it's just a very powerful tool for your team. But no, it does not replace the registered dietitian, because the screen that you're looking at, like, that's what the registered dietitian does. And our integration and our tools fit into all of those spaces, but they don't replace them.
Awesome. Great. So now that we talked about the methodology and the theory behind it, so what are the tools that are actually available to you guys? And today we're going to go over both Living Plate and Fullscript here, and a quick overview of Fullscript. So what is Fullscript? Well, Fullscript is the ultimate platform for people putting integrative health into practice here. So it's an online dispensary, and it gives you access to thousands of professional grade supplements to recommend to patients without carrying that inventory. So we just save you a whole lot of headache of making sure that, do you have the right inventory, the right amount of inventory? Can you sell it before the expiring date? And this is on top of any logistics issues that you would have when you're ordering the supplements in the first place. So not only that, we are an authorized reseller of all the brands that we do carry here. So you can rest assured all the products are safe, authentic, and a professional grade level. Not only are we able to recommend quality supplements for you for hassle-free, but we're able to track client wellness and treatment plans with our adherence tool. So that you're able to earn more revenue, grow your practice, and impact your client's way of life in a meaningful way. Right. The only thing we do ask here for new Fullscript users, and once again, it is a free solutions to have a Fullscript. It's a free solution to have a Fullscript account and to maintain one. But we do ask that providers upload their educational credentials or any sort of professional state license, which is reviewed and approved by members of our compliance team. Once that is done, you're basically ready to go. So you're ready to start recommending products, you're ready to start viewing our items, and in this case, ready to start using Fullscript within the Living Plate RX account. Now, now that you know a little bit about Fullscript here, I'll actually turn this over to Jeannie, who will be giving a quick overview of Living Plate RX and how it has helped practitioners better serve their clients' nutritional goals.
Thanks, Alan. So before I actually give a brief description of Living Plate RX, I just want to reflect on something that Alan said, because it's another reason why this integration and partnership makes sense. Our solution is also free for you to use, and it is only available to healthcare professionals. So you do have to upload your credential as well to Living Plate, and it is reviewed. We actually have, real eyes on them. Most of the time, it's actually me approving all of the accounts, because I really do like to get to know everybody who's using them. So we're very similar in that way, as well as our modalities working really well together. So Living Plate RX is your complete meal planning and nutrition education content solution, right? So you'll be able to create meal plans quickly and simply for clients with full control of your branding and logo. I don't know how many of you have ever created a meal plan from scratch, whether it's on paper or a PDF, but it's a big headache. And if I'm in a room filled with dietitians and I ask them a question, how do you feel about meal plans? It is a sigh of defeat, right? Just collective, like, oh, like they're so hard because people want to change them, and then they don't comply, and developing recipes is not an easy thing. So we really do provide that a kind of plug and play solution for you. So Living Plate RX supports you in efficiently providing a total nutrition solution for your clients. The meal planning platform is driven by humans, not data points or computer algorithms. That's a really important point. So with our meal plans, there is not a computer generating the meal plans. So your client does not enter their preferences and their diagnosis, and then a computer will spit out a meal plan. It's not how it works. It is very much driven by food, which you're actually going to see. Our weekly customizable meal plans are curated by registered dietitians and culinary professionals here at Living Plate to meet guidelines for select nutrition prescriptions. So I'll just give you a couple of examples: anti-inflammatory, low FODMAP, PCOS. These plans are then branded for you to call your own. So it's an automated branding process. So when you join Living Plate RX, you actually upload your profile picture, your credentials, and your logo. So it's just really a quick way to add value to your practice. In 15 minutes, we put you in the meal planning business, and that adds real value. So your clients are not static, and their meal plans shouldn't be either. So providing them with tools that are flexible so that they can make appropriate meal planning decisions that help them meet their health goals, right? Your patients do not exist in a bubble. They're almost never just feeding themselves. So while they might be following an anti-inflammatory meal plan, they might want to make almond-crusted chicken nuggets for the kids, right? So they do have that kind of flexibility while still remaining on track with their nutrition prescription. So just before we go to the next slide, imagine what your practice would be like if you could create customizable meal plans in minutes and brand them for your practice. If you could confidently issue nutrition prescriptions to support your clients in meeting their health goals, and if you could generate passive income and add value to your offerings with these done-for-you meal plans.
Great. So now that we introduced you to the tools themselves, let's delve into the integration itself and why it's important. So this workflow, it might be familiar for those who have dispensed supplements prior to the integration, especially like essentially before the integration, practitioners would have to duplicate a lot of their work. So a lot of steps involved to do one simple action. They would have to work within their Living Plate RX platform to set up the meal plan initially, and then they're forced to switch over to and log into Fullscript to write the recommendation for a client. On top of that, of course, these systems were not communicating with each other, so clients are getting information from two different platforms, one from Living Plate RX and one from Fullscript, and this really leads to a convoluted process, and it opens up the patient to confusion, which we don't really want. Now,
So Alan, is it okay if I present just like a brief case study then? Is that what you'd like me to do here?
absolutely.
Yeah, let's do that. Before I present this brief case study, literally 2 minutes, I just want to note that most of the patients that I have seen in my practice have been touched by cancer, and they all come to me for guidance on nutrition and supplements. The oncologists that refer to me are integrative, and practice food is medicine. So the case that I'm going to present to you is super representative of my patient population. And in fact, literally in the past 2 weeks, 2 more of these people have reached out to me, very, very similar cases. So Mark is a 54-year-old man who came to see me last year when he completed treatment for prostate cancer. So he walked into my office. He actually had 2 bags full of supplements that he carried in like a gym bag. I mean, he had a lot going on. And he just needed to make sense of all of it. He also came in with a directive from his oncologist to follow an anti-inflammatory diet, which he pulled out of a folder. Like the oncologist had given him a folder with a guide to an anti-inflammatory diet and just tons of recipes and food lists. So to start with, we issued him the anti-inflammatory meal plan with instructions on how we could customize it and how we could log in. I then, went to my Fullscript account and managed his recommendation. We reviewed his supplements and I issued that separately, but he left my office very grateful for both resources. But when he left, he had to log into 2 different places, right? And sometimes things got lost in the sauce. So, in order to view his total nutrition intake, he really had to kind of toggle between the 2 sites. And, as his practitioner, I really needed to do the same.
That's a perfect example of the challenges some of our practitioners have experienced before the integration. And this is where we actually saw a great opportunity to optimize the practitioner workflow and enhance the client's experience by developing the integration. So the integration is built to simplify this very experience into what you see right now, like just a one-step process. The Fullscript integration lives within your Living Plate RX account, and allows you to recommend supplements from within there and store that information accordingly. This information, of course, is pulled between the 2 systems, so you won't have to simply copy and paste that or reduplicate that work in both solutions. So this actually removes that altogether, and you're able to focus on more important things, such for running your practice.
And Alan, I just want to note, like if you have Fullscript already linked to your EHR, a lot of our practitioners already do, you should still link it to Living Plate RX because, our foundation of information all comes from Fullscript. So if you're, in your EHR doing your therapy, you can view the Fullscript recommendations there. But then once you, dive into that kind of culinary bubble with the meal plans, you'll be able to view it there. So if you change it using the integration on Living Plate RX, it will still show up on your EHR. So it's not like an either or scenario. Is that correct, Alan?
That is correct, yes.
Okay, good, because I know that I've had a few questions about that already. So I just want to present kind of the solution to the case study, right? So I knew that, now Mark has been a client of mine for a little over a year, and I knew that this integration made sense. But it has been the reactions of the people I serve that really validated it for me, right? So in the few weeks that the integration has been live, Mark noticed the Fullscript icon. So I linked his meal planner to his Fullscript recommendation, and like voila, it just appeared there, which Alan is going to show you next. And then everything was just nice and tidy in one place. And the Fullscript icon is on his meal plan to remind him, just to, you know, in a very unobtrusive way, to remind him to refill his recommendation. But what I thought was really interesting was that he messaged me in my EHR and asked me questions about additional supplements to support him as we approach the winter during the pandemic. So, you know, he is at risk. He's gone through chemotherapy and he's very concerned about, you know, inflammation and kind of a post-treatment environment that he finds himself in now. And so we're having that conversation. And that was all because he saw the little leaf in his meal planner. So, you know, I literally could not have scripted a better case to present to you guys today. It really worked out great. And I have linked, since this integration, I've linked about 10 patient accounts, and more than 50% have already, you know, ordered their supplements. So definitely not only works, but serves as a great behavioral. Remember, we talked about these behaviors, people selecting and shopping for their supplements has definitely helped with that behavior as well.
That's music to my ears hearing that you're already connecting people.
Yeah.
Perfect. So what are some benefits of Fullscript and Live and Plate RX integration here? Well, it's meant to optimize your workflow, as we already mentioned before. So gone are the days of you using multiple platforms to find information about your patients, assigning them plans and dispensing supplements. All of that can be done in one step within your Live and Plate RX account here. And ultimately, this actually helps you stay organized, since everything is in one platform here, gain access and increase your offerings to include supplements within the practice itself. This is essentially true with the current health environment, since patients are looking for different ways to stay healthy here. Well, additionally, it's easy to grow and run your practice. So as practitioners, you are probably required to evolve rapidly in a way so you're able to provide patients with the necessary health care. We know that it's very, very challenging here, but it's also an opportunity for integrative medical community to actually come together here and leverage technology, tools, and resources that allows the practitioners to connect with clients in a really meaningful way here. And this is even at a distance here. This integration allows for just that. And then finally, we want to increase client engagement and adherence, given that the client can follow your Live and Plate RX program and plan inside the solution. And then for some bonus items here, and Jeannie, you might be able to touch on this a little bit more, but we really wanted to highlight the elimination diet guide and meal plan and what that is all about.
Yeah, so when we talked about this elimination diet guide and meal plan, never in my wildest dreams did I imagine that it would look like this. I mean, this is a masterpiece that you are all going to have access to now, and we are talking about partnering on a few other guides. This elimination diet guide and meal plan is really the perfect example of client education supported by tools. So remember that Venn diagram, right? The education in the guide provides the knowledge, which answers the why. Why am I following this diet? And the meal plan, which is also supported by a digital version, which we're going to show you, provides the how. So the why and the how really does, like, how can I follow this diet? What does it look like? What does it taste like? What is required of me in the kitchen to bring it to life, right? You might say to somebody that, you know, this is their nutrition prescription. They could become overwhelmed without seeing the details. And when Alan does take you inside Living Plate RX, I'll show you what the recipes look like, and they're very low culinary literacy and really just, you know, making sure that we continue to break down the barriers with the education and supporting them with the tools so that they can meet their health goals. We're all barrier busters, Alan. That's what I kind of a term I came up with during
Yeah.
one conference. I'm like, we are barrier busters. If you don't break down the barriers, your clients are not going to have long-term success. And we really, you know, Fullscript and I believe that this is just such an important, critical piece of that.
Truer words have never been said before. That's exactly what we're trying to do here. Break down the barriers for our practitioners so they're better able to serve their clients.
Yep.
Perfect. So what I'll actually do here now, we're gonna, since we were just going over the benefits and what we're trying to do here with the integration, we're actually gonna go ahead and jump in into a demonstration here. So I'm gonna go ahead and minimize my screen here.
So this is
We're
the
gonna go in,
exciting part, guys. So Alan, while
yeah,
you're doing that, I'll actually answer some questions. Is that okay?
absolutely, go right ahead.
Okay, wonderful. So we have a question. Will I be able to enter patient preferences and restrictions based on food sensitivity tests? Another great question. And remember, I mentioned that Living Plate is not driven by computer algorithms, meaning that you're not going to be typing in preferences and allergies and food sensitivities and then having a computer spit out a meal plan, because I've been doing this for a long time. I promise you it's a lousy meal plan, right? What our space and what you're going to see, what our space allows the practitioners to do is manipulate the food to suit the preferences. So everything is customizable. So for example, if there is a chia pudding that has walnuts on top, the recipe is not dependent on the walnuts. And if your patient doesn't like them or has a sensitivity to them, you can actually replace that in the recipe. We're not going to show you that today. I'll be doing another video tutorial on that. So the answer to your question is that you are able to consider patient preferences and restrictions based on food sensitivity tests, but it's just not done with a computer algorithm. And let me just mention here, if you're referring to the certified LEAP therapist, the MRT results, we actually have a LEAP meal planner that contains all foods and recipes with MRT reviewed ingredients. So for that practitioner, you can reach out to me separately. And then one last question, Alan. Can we use Living Plate outside of Canada and US? Absolutely. We have dietitians all over the world using our platform.
Great, great. Keep asking those questions, people. We really
Yes,
love it. We really love it.
we'll pepper in the answers as much as we can.
Exactly. And it's also telling us you guys are not falling asleep on the other end of the line here.
Oh, now this is the
Perfect.
really exciting part. So wake up, get your coffee.
Yeah. Great, guys. So right now I'm actually on Living Plate RX here in this the login page. Just a little note here. This is a test account we've created here and we branded to Fullscript. So keep in mind that this is an enterprise solution that is customizable and white labeled. So you can brand it to your liking, to your color schemes, to your logo. So what I'll do here is go ahead and click the login button. And as I do that, I'll be greeted by the Living Plate RX landing page here. This is the dashboard. This is where all the magic happens here. On the left-hand side here, the control panel, we're actually going to focus on the accounts tab. So we'll go ahead and click into that. Now I'm going to show you how easy it is to set up the integration. It's a really three-step process here. When we click into the accounts tab, there's actually a section devoted to Fullscript. And we'll go ahead and click on the Connect Fullscript button here. As I do that, we'll go ahead and log into our Fullscript account. So we'll go ahead and log into our Fullscript account. And as I sign in, I will then be prompted to authorize the account here within Living Plate itself. So I'll go ahead and click on the Authorize Application button. And as I do that, it'll immediately activate the integration. However, for those practices that have multi-practitioners, they would actually have to select the specific practitioner that you want the account to link up to. So I'll go ahead and click Connect for this practitioner I have here. And as I mentioned before, it's a three-step process. From this point on, I can go ahead and make recommendations within my Living Plate RX account. So easy peasy for everybody that's involved here. Now, let's go ahead and actually do a recommendation. So I'll go ahead and click on the Clients tab. And underneath so we'll go ahead and select a particular client. As I do that, I'll be taken to the Clients page. And you can see there is a section devoted to Fullscript here. You can see all the past recommendations that we have here. I'll go ahead and click the New button. And as I do that, it'll actually open up a new tab, which will direct me to Fullscript. And this is actually where Fullscript comes into play. This is our recommendation tool here. So as you can see, I have a recommendation ready to go for our particular client. I can actually add a personalized message for them. I can create one from scratch or actually use a template that I already have in place. There
I
we
love
go.
that feature.
And
I
then
love that
from
feature,
there,
by the way, Alan. That's a great personal touch.
again, and going back to breaking down barriers, that's what we really want to do. We want to make it streamlined for the practitioners so they can actually get that recommendation out to their clients or their patients. Great. And then when you have that message ready to go, we go ahead and add the products as we see fit. We actually upgraded our prescribing tool here. We actually can search from over 20,000 products here, and we can get not only can we search from brands, but we can actually get really specific and search by ingredients. So if you do have that client that has dietary restrictions, you can actually go ahead and search by that. Again, try to make it as easy as possible for you guys. And then I'll go ahead and look up a particular ingredient. So I'm looking at magnesium here. Again, we want to get really specific. We can do greater than or equal to by milligrams here. Again, we can add those filters as we see fit. And I'll go ahead and add my particular products that I want. Maybe I don't want magnesium anymore. Maybe I want to do another one here. Actually, let's search by brand here. Some encapsulation. I'll go ahead and add a zinc as well. On top of that, not only can we search for my
something, Alan,
category.
while you're on this page?
Sure.
Is it okay? So
absolutely.
Just for those of you just at the top, and Alan, you don't have to click on it, but I just wanted to note here because I didn't want to forget to mention it. There is a favorites category there where supplements can be grouped by categories. So anti-inflammatory, women's health, men's health, heart health. We have pre-populated categories. So for those of you who are new to Fullscript and just want to have a pre-populated supplement store that where the supplements relate to the specified meal plans, we can enable that for you. So essentially, Fullscript will copy the favorites categories that we have created with supplement experts, and you can have access to that. That's coming soon. Thank you, Alan.
Absolutely, yeah. No worries. You actually beat me to the punch. So yes, you have those categories you can access here. You can create your own categories as well. And you can actually look at the patient history and see what you recommended for this particular client here in the past and see if you want to add those products later on. When you're done, when you're satisfied with the products that you have here, you'll go ahead and click send recommendation at the bottom here. You'll go ahead and send that recommendation to the client. The client will receive an email where they go ahead and fulfill that recommendation. There you go. Now, we can actually jump back into the Living Plate account here. And when we press refresh, you'll actually get to see the recommendation. So again, you won't have to copy and paste the information. You won't have to check the information in a different solution. It's actually here for you guys to reference. Now, how does that work within your planner here? So we'll go ahead and jump into the planner.
Get ready for the food, guys. Here it comes.
So as I mentioned before, this is where the magic happens. As you can see, it's really laid out here for your day-to-day here. At the top here, we actually have a little Fullscript icon where you can actually reference back to all the recommendations you have made for your particular client. Go. Now, guys, I know you have a lot of questions, so go ahead and ask away. Type in those questions in there. We'll hopefully get that at the end of our presentation. Jeannie, I would like to know, when people are working within the planner here, what are some tips and tricks that you can actually relate to making sure that they're optimizing their time within the platform?
Great. So what you're looking at here, and Alan, why don't you go ahead and delete the strawberry rhubarb chia pudding on Sunday, because we'll bring that back in later. So what you're looking at here is a plan for CRIS testing. So it's a test account. This is an example of one of our pre-populated plans. So you have the option of creating plans from scratch. So it would be a blank planner that you or your team would curate for the patient, or you could start with pre-populated. This is our anti-inflammatory plan. We provide you with all of the protocols so that you understand how do we define anti-inflammatory, right? So you can see at the top of every day, there is a small cell that gives you just a quick macronutrient kind of look, right? So it gives you the total calories for the day. This meal plan, we target between 16 and 1700 calories as a base, but it is 100% customizable. And let me show you how to do that. So you saw Alan already deleted a breakfast. So Alan, if you can go into the search function, just type in chia. So you can search by meal type, by recipe name, by ingredient. Go ahead and, so wait, don't click on the strawberry yet, just hold that right there. So you can see when he's highlighting with his cursor, just dragging his cursor over the recipe, you get a quick look at the carb, protein, and fat. So it'll give you a good idea of what's gonna happen when we drag it into the meal plan. So Alan, go ahead and click and drag that into Sunday breakfast. And you can see that breakfast highlighted green. And the second that Alan released his mouse, that chia pudding dropped into Sunday, and the nutrition facts populated for that day. So Alan, just why don't you just search like orange again? I just want to build a meal here real quick. I don't know why I thought of oranges. I think because I just bought caras this morning. So go ahead and click the orange and almonds into the snack field. Great. So you can see that the nutrition facts are populating. Your grocery list is also populating as you're doing this. So Alan, when it comes to thinking about the food and the supplements in this space, we really do need to take a look at the nutrition data. So if you could click on the strawberry rhubarb chia pudding for me, please. Great. So just quickly, this is how all of our recipes are set up. They're set up in prep and make. We keep our ingredients lists as short as possible. So it considers very low culinary literacy. We don't want somebody to look at a recipe and be like, I can't do that, because that's a barrier, right? We actually want to enable their confidence and improve their confidence. So go ahead and scale down. And you can see we have the nutrition facts label here. Alan, if you click on show all nutrients, so if this patient, and let's say for one of the head and neck cancer patients that just came to me this week, protein is a huge concern. So I'm actually going to be looking very closely at protein as I'm building his plan, and also fat because he needs increased calories. But I'm also going to be taking a look at the micronutrient panel, and that's what Alan has pulled up for you. So you can see by recipe every piece of data that the USDA database has available, because that's where we pull our data from. So he just clicked on, again, if you click hide all nutrients, Alan, you can see that button is right under the nutrition facts label. So just scroll up one more time. I think we had a question about manipulating the recipes. So the practitioner had the previous question about preferences and allergies. And Alan, I don't want you to click this button because I will invite everybody to a tutorial later, but the copy and edit button allows you to change the recipe ingredients. So if your client doesn't like strawberries and would rather have blueberries, they can change that, and the nutrition facts will automatically recalculate. So Alan, you can close that now. And now we want to take it, so we've populated this plan, we've made changes. Let's go to the calculator right now, which is right next, you're on the grocery list now. There's the calculator, great. Let's click on that. So as you're manipulating your plan, your nutrition facts are like living, right? They're coming and going, and you're really forming a plan that reflects the data that you want to end up with. So this calculator will show you the data by recipe, by meal, because sometimes there are multiple recipes in one meal, by day and by week. So you could have a high level view, you can have kind of like your medium level view, and then you could also have your micro view if you wanted to take a dive into all those recipes and look at the macronutrients, right? So, and micronutrients. So like as a practitioner, if you would like your client to increase their intake of magnesium, you know what foods are rich in magnesium. So rather than, having a computer spit out foods rich in magnesium, just search the food, search pepitas, for example, and you're going to get all of our recipes that have that seed in them. So you can go back to the planner, Ellen. Let's see, we have a couple of questions here. Should I start answering some of them?
Go right ahead, Jeannie.
Okay, let's just bang out some of these as they relate. I'll get to all the questions, but I just want to answer some as they relate to the planner. So one question is, can I manipulate the recipes in a free account? This practitioner is saying that they haven't transitioned to our Prime membership yet, and they're wanting to know, can they do what Alan is doing now in the free account? Yes, you can. So you can manipulate recipes, you can change recipes. All of this is available to you. Our free community version, our free community members really do have access to a robust platform, even at the free level. What this practitioner is talking about, our Prime membership, grants you access to unique features, all of which I'm not going to cover here, but one important one is that you could actually pre-populate kind of a signature meal plan for your practice and then issue that plan to your patients. So I answered that question.
Perfect.
And let's see, Alan, can you please show the brand search function again? The practitioner wants to see how the brand filter appears. Oh, so well, we can go back to that. Let's just stay here and I will answer some other questions.
We can see that there's,
okay,
go ahead, Jeannie. Sorry for interrupting.
That's okay. Okay, so Jeannie, can we search for a food based on macronutrient content? Will you offer very low carbohydrate or a low carbohydrate meal plan? That's a loaded, that's great. Great question, whoever asked that. And you know my name, so maybe you're already with us. So yes, we are going to be offering a very low carbohydrate. We're going to be doing a modified keto plan that is 50 grams of net carbohydrates. For some people, the plan that you're looking at right now actually is a lower carbohydrate meal plan. Go ahead and take a look at the carbs for the day. We have 91 on Monday, we have 133 on Wednesday, and 97 on Friday. Our target goal for the anti-inflammatory plan is about 100 to 120 on average. You're talking about recipes, not individual foods, so you're always going to have a range. Next, I'm going to do question number 6. Can this platform be used as a patient without a doctor? It depends on how you offer it. I mean, you can put certain meal plans on your website, but recognize when people sign up for your meal plan, you get a notification immediately. And so you can reach out to them. So it's a great lead generation. So technically they can if you choose to, but I am not competing with you. Living Plate RX is not a consumer platform, it's enterprise. So you actually have that choice. Last question before we move on. Will nutrition facts and micronutrient data include info from the food in the plan as well as the supplements? No, not yet. We might get there, but you can take a quick look at your supplement recommendations from within the planner and have a really good idea, based on looking at the food like you're looking at now and comparing it to the recommendations. As a practitioner, you can get a good snapshot.
Great. That was very, very informative. I love these questions here. We're actually going to jump quickly into the brand search function again. So we'll go back, we'll click into that little icon as I mentioned. That will be on the top of your planner there. And we'll just go ahead and edit one of the recommendations that we do have. So I'll go ahead and click the edit here. And we'll go ahead and add those products. When we click on brands here, you can see all the popular brands that you can see. And if you want to see all the brands, you can go ahead and type it in as you see fit. If you want to see additional filters, you can go ahead and see that we can do multiple different items. So we can see if it's available in stock here, any certifications that need to be done, allergens as well. So again, if there are any dietary restrictions here, you can go ahead and filter through the supplement list by them. And then form. So if you want to do it by capsule, tablet, powder, liquid, or chewable, you have the ability to search from that.
It's amazing.
Perfect. So I'll actually close this tab here and we'll go back into the actual presentation. Before I do that, Jeannie, is there anything else that you want to cover before we go back here?
Well, just if you could you leave this open and toggle to the slides?
Sure.
Great, that'd be great. Perfect, because there was another question here that I'll answer as well. Okay. Okay.
So yeah, all right, we can actually go ahead and answer this question here.
Okay, terrific.
Jeannie, I'm a certified holistic nutritionist. Oh, sorry. Jeannie, I'm a certified holistic nutritionist as well as a certified personal trainer. I have fitness clients that are looking for meal plans. Even though I'm not a registered dietitian, can I offer meal plans in my practice by using Living Plate RX? Also, my name is Jeannie too.
Hi, Jeannie. The answer is soon. You will be able to do that. I'm going to encourage you, though, to go ahead and apply for an account because I am maintaining a very fast-growing list right now of personal trainers and coaches and health educators who would like access. And we're actually going to have a it'll also include Fullscript, but it'll just be a little bit less prescriptive than the meal plans that are available on this dashboard. So the answer is yes, just not quite yet. Also, I would just need to take a look at your credentials. This might be available to you now. I don't know without taking a look at it. So just encourage you to go ahead and join. We do have a question that I actually didn't answer. Do clients pay Living Plate RX directly for the meal plans? Such a great question. So if you are a free community member, it's up to you. So you could either have your clients sign up on your URL, again, which will make sense when you go through the masterclass I'll send you. And if your clients sign up, it is a monthly recurring revenue model. They'll pay $19 a month to access their meal plan, and you as the practitioner receive 30% of that. So it's actually revenue generating for you. If you do packages or if you don't take insurance, including the plans in your kind of care package makes more sense. And you have two options there. You can either kind of pay per plan. You actually pay a wholesale price per plan. But honestly, if you have more than 3 patients per month using the meal plans, it makes sense just to become a Prime member. And then you have an unlimited number of meal plans that you can issue. If you have 1,000 clients a month, you get 1,000 meal plans to kind of issue, meal plan accounts to issue. So we can have that conversation if you want to reach out to me about that.
Great.
Should we go ahead and keep asking questions? Should I come on camera, or where do you want to go? Because we have some questions.
Actually,
let's go ahead and
we can go ahead and share our camera here right
Perfect.
now. We can go ahead and ask some questions. We do have some resources and next steps here, though, that I do want to mention. In terms of resources, once again, if you're new to Fullscript or new to recommending supplements, our Medical Knowledge Center is like a one-stop shop. It's on our website here. It's a great way to get started. It has everything from patient handouts to education on supplements to ingredient-based searches. And in addition, it also has linked to our protocols. So these are evidence-based protocols here. They're curated by our integrative medical advisory team and put together, and it's really, really nice. And it gives you all the research that you'll need to learn about all these protocols that we have. And also with a one click of the button, these protocols can become saved onto your Fullscript account, in which case they can be used through your Living Plate integration. So that's another nice little bonus here. We also linked the elimination diet guide and meal plan here. I just wanted to link it here. And as we mentioned before, you'll get access to it in the coming days. And I really want to thank Jeannie for setting that all up as well.
That was great.
In terms of next steps here, please, if you don't have a Living Plate RX account, go ahead and create one. All new Living Plate Prime members receive a 20% discount off their first payment here. And Jeannie did mention they also have a community version, which is free to use.
Yep.
Now, for Fullscript, if you're new to Fullscript, please sign up for Fullscript as well. This is a very specific link that will be shared after the webinar here. It's tracking those that have registered and attended the webinar. And just as a bonus here, you'll actually get 5 free shipping credits
Nice.
to start using Fullscript this week. So if you sign up for Fullscript either today or tomorrow, you'll get those 5 free shipping credits. You can use it on yourself because you can always create a test user or a test order on yourself, or you can also give it to a family or family or friends as well. So it's a nice little thank you here for attending the webinar. And then additionally, we also want to link the integration page, which will actually give you the step-by-step guide of how to set up the account and start using it immediately.
So Alan, if you want to go to our contact slide while we answer questions, I think there's one here for you too, so that everybody knows how to reach out to us. So to contact me, there's my email. Feel free to reach out to me. The website, we have a private Facebook group, which is really powerful, where all of our meal plan distributors and users kind of have a conversation about how they're using them in practice. So really, join us at Scale Your Nutrition Practice. And then at Instagram, you actually get to see kind of how I bring, all of this nutrition education to life. And then, of course, your Fullscript contacts. Alan, did you want to review that while I take a look at the questions here?
Absolutely. So yeah, you can email support@fullscript.com. You can access our website, www.fullscript.com. Of course, we do have multiple different social media platforms that we're very active in. Please check us out or follow us here either at Facebook or Instagram. As I mentioned, we do have other ones, but I want to make it clean and nice for everybody here.
Great. So a question, can I select a diabetic diet and add food preferences without having to spend time deselecting foods? So yes, we have a diabetes meal plan. It's very, Alan, do you want to leave that slide up while we chat?
Absolutely.
Oh, that'd be great. That'd be great. Just in case it was a little fast. So we have a diabetic meal plan. It is exactly the same as the anti-inflammatory meal plan. Very low glycemic, and you should not have to spend time editing preferences. When patients sign up, or if you issue a meal plan to them, they receive a video that shows them how they can do it. Again, it's education. We don't want a computer screening things out and doing things like let the patient do it so that it becomes a learning experience. How about, let's see, is the elimination diet low FODMAPs? No, it is not, but we have a low FODMAP meal plan that's for low FODMAPs. So that is available to you. We have a 3-day where you see 3 days populated. We also have a 5-day populated low FODMAP meal plan. What about billing insurance? I'll speak to kind of the meal planning side versus the supplement side, because I'm not really sure how to answer that question. So you don't bill insurance specifically for meal plans, but meal planning is part of the medical nutrition therapy process. So if somebody is in your office and you're talking about meal planning and foods to help them meet their health goals, that counts as medical nutrition there. It's all part of the conversation, right? But you don't bill separately for the meal plans. It's actually, part of the bigger conversation. Alan, there are 2 questions for you. How does the supplement piece work? I think we covered that, right?
Yeah. So as you saw from the we're recommending, okay. We actually recommended a supplement for a particular client there. Of course, if you have additional questions of how the solution works, you can actually go onto our website, fullscript.com, and actually search for those additional questions. If you're looking for a specific supplement, we do have resources on our Knowledge Center.
Great. Couple of quick questions coming through. Do we have any plans with dairy and wheat? Yes. Our Mediterranean meal plan is actually called the Flex plan because we didn't want it like designated by a region or type of food, because there are some stir fries and things like that in there. But the Flex plan does include dairy and wheat and other things that don't include dairy and wheat, but it's very flexible. So let's see. Sorry if I missed this. Will Living Plate integrate with Healthy or other EHRs? So we actually have a very good relationship with Erica and her team at Healthy, and you can absolutely already use your meal plans inside Healthy, because connecting your meal plans to patient care is nothing more than a URL. And I can cover whoever's asking that question. Just please reach out to me, and I will send you a webinar that I did with Healthy on kind of how it does integrate. So, you know, whether or not we do a single sign-on process has yet to be determined, but we work very closely with Healthy, and I actually use Healthy in my practice, and I use the meal plans all the time. I just drop, you know, recipes in and guides and URLs. Question about the elimination diet. So what are you eliminating? So read the guide. To me, it read somewhat like a lower histamine diet versus kind of like a low FODMAP diet. So the elimination guide does an excellent job at defining the protocol. So whoever asked that question, you now have access to the guide. The guide will answer that for you. I think that's it, Alan, for now. But, you know, if you guys continue to have questions, especially if you're watching this as a recording, please reach out to either Fullscript or myself, and we are here to support you and break down any barriers that may prevent you from providing really optimal nutrition care that incorporates, you know, culinary food and supplement conversation.
Awesome. Jeannie, thanks so much. We do have a couple questions still left, but we'll actually get back to those questions at a later time here. I would like to thank you so much for your time here today. This has been very, very educational, and I'm really excited to be kicking off this partnership.
Yeah, me too. Thanks again, Alan, and big thanks to your team.